I was about to start with the auction items. Who needs those, right? I'm gonna see if I can nap some of this quartzite with natural tools. See what happens. And then I'll get back to the auction and side orders. Got a bunch of side orders. No more. I'm not taking any more. Once word gets out, man, I don't know. Maybe word's not getting out. It's just people can just tell. Something feels like it's breaking. Should I make a big point? No, I'm gonna make a smaller, that little dart point. Although some of those can make arrowheads, true arrow points. When I say a true arrow point, I don't mean a real artifact projectile point. I mean a point for an actual arrow back in the day. So when I say true arrow point, that means a point for an arrow instead of a point for an atlatl dart, or a point for an adze, or a point for a knife, or a point for a spear or a javelin. It's a true arrow point means it's a point for an arrow. And not a big arrow like an atlatl dart, a regular size arrow. Please be good. Please be a good thin flake. Come on. Oh, it broke. Dang it. That would have been sweet. Yes? Yeah, if it had gone all the way. I don't know what's wrong with it. Let's see. Maybe I can force the rest of it off. I tried. Let's see. This one looks not too bad. Sometimes these nodules have lots of layers, but this one doesn't look too bad. Come on. Is this anything like Tallahassee quartzite? No, Tallahassee is better. This is like Tallahassee and driveway gravel had a baby. The driveway gravel quartzite is really bad most of the time. And Tallahassee is not too bad. So this is an in-betweener. And when I said earlier, previous video, that there's jasper around here, they call it jasper. I said jasper, I should have said jasper. There's some jasper. However, I lost the accent from around here. Jasper. I gotta learn the local lingo. Oh man, this is really... See, I'm trying to spall off thin flakes, but it's not letting me. Yeah, you're just not developing the platforms right, man. The platforms are not right. Yes, I know. I've heard it all. I know. And you're probably right. These platforms are not right. And then I'll make a really steep, stout platform. Really stout. Really steep. Really hammerstone-ish platform. Let me see how this works. Feel like it might work. Let's see. Oh, look, I crushed it. You do it on purpose, man, every time. You do it on purpose. Yeah, that's a controlled crushing. Controlled crushing. That's a controlled crush right there. I meant to do that. It was perfectly timed so that I can say that the perfect platform doesn't work. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it subconsciously. I'm not gonna deny that's a possibility, but I don't know, dude. I don't know. I try to take other people's advice, and whenever I do, I regret it. I was not able to learn napping from anybody, although I do have influences. Oh yeah. People have influenced my flint napping. And especially the pressure flaking. I don't have any of my own ideas on pressure flaking. So I just follow along with everybody else. Trying to figure out something else because I don't like the way my pressure flaking is going. With natural tools, I don't like it. Don't like it. Alright, so am I going to be productive with this eventually? I don't know. Maybe. Some of you guys will get excited. Yeah, make a beautiful point out of quartzite. Yeah, I mean, it can be made into beautiful quartzite arrowheads like I've seen. Which ones have you seen? The top 1/10 of 1% of all quartzite arrowheads? Because the ones I've seen look really cruddy. Crickets. No response. When you ask that question, are you looking at the 1/10 of 1% of the top cream of the crop arrowheads when you're talking about wanting to see how it's made? Or are you talking about the regular stuff? No one wants to see how the regular stuff's made. They want to see the top 1/10 of 1%. Yeah. They think you can use the bottom 1/10 of 1% of the stone to make the top 1/10 of 1% of the beautiful points. It does not work that way. It does not work that way. But they're sitting there with their fingers in their ears. It does not work that way. All these fingers go when I say it does not work that way. They're hearing it. They're still like, wah, 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 wah. They know I'm saying something. But it's like Charlie Brown listening to his teacher. Wah, 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 wah. I'm talking to a brick wall. It does not work that way. If there's a beautiful point made out of this kind of stuff, many times it's because the material is cooperative. Yeah, because you're not lucky enough to find the one arrowhead made by the 1 in 1,000 flint knappers. That 1 out of 1,000 arrowheads made by that 1 out of 1,000 knappers. You found that arrowhead. Oh yeah. No. You found an arrowhead made by just somebody. And if it's really good quality, it's because that somebody lucked out and found a cooperative piece of stone. Or he had a good day that day. And all this other stuff looks like crud. And he didn't use that one arrowhead because he went, man, this is a good one. I'm going to keep this one. I'm not going to use it. Yeah, I'm hitting way above center line, but if it's a knappable stone, it scoops out. So it tells me, without much preparation, that this is not fracturing in a conchoidal pattern. Conchoidal? This fractures in planes and not with a conchoidal fracture. It fractures along planes. There's hardly any bulb of percussion. That's because it doesn't fracture conchoidally. Although it does fracture with a sharp edge, which can be used for tools. This is basically, I'm hitting quartzite with quartzite. It's about the same kind of material, except this one has planes that are more cooperative than this one. This one, it does fracture along planes, because you can see, but it's a little bit more dense. See, this is not as, it's not as heavy as this one. This one, like, it feels heavier. I would say this is about the same mass. Yeah, this is more porous. So, okay, I'm getting down to where I can't really do too much more. I powered off that turtleback. Now I can maybe, if I get out the steel, make something out of this. Yeah. Just make something out of it, man. Just make something out of it. Stop talking about not being able to make something and just make something. Just letting you know, a lot of guys out there, this is all they have. And then you start putting ideas in their head that they can go out and make something beautiful with what they got. And they're beating their heads against the wall in the garage, and their wife goes, "What is he doing in there?" And he's coming back from the garage all sweaty and angry, and then you're not talking to me the rest of the night. It's not healthy, because he saw something on the internet where this cool guy, this who knows who it is, said that you can make beautiful points out of this quartzite stuff. He's banging his head against the wall because it's not working. You're not doing him any favors by saying that it's easy or you can do good stuff with it. I'm going to show you the struggle. And if I fuss, I fuss. If I suffer, I'm suffering so you can see. I'm not going to edit these videos. I'm not going to delete the ones that are suffering. The ones I delete is when I mess up on an explanation and I'm telling you something that's not right, or I notice that it's a little bit cringy, or the microphone's going the whole time. Then I'll delete it. But otherwise, I'm just going to show you what happens. Yeah. Now, why did I mention quartzite on quartzite? Does that make a difference? What if I were to knap this with antler or with some other material like limestone? Let's see. I'm not going to get my antler out because you already know why I don't use my antler. Wow. What results? What fantastic results I am getting. Oh yeah. Wow. Wow, this is awesome. Look at them sharp edges I'm getting with this soft material that I'm using to knap. How beautiful. And look, I hardly lost any. And look how much progress I've been making. See how much progress I made? See how little bit I lost off of this? Soft material on a hard material? Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful progress. Yeah. For those of you in La La Land, yeah, I made lots of progress and I have now beautiful edges because of that. But for the rest of us who are in reality, this is what happens to your hammerstone when you do that. Okay? But like everyone else in La La Land, they've got a one-way filter. Nothing goes in, everything comes out. We hear a lot of stuff coming out of La La Land, but nothing goes in. So that little demonstration I just did, showing you how much the limestone got beat up, that didn't go in. You look for it in La La Land and it's not there. It's not there. Where'd it go? Where is it? Dude, this is a one-way door. Nothing comes in. Everything goes out. All this stuff from La La Land goes out into the real world. Nothing comes in. Yeah. I'm a little bit slow on the uptake, but it took me years to figure that one out. I didn't think it was possible. But it's possible. Not only is it possible, it's highly prevalent. It's all over the place. We got these La La Lands everywhere. Anyway, what am I doing here? What am I doing? I'm just testing this out, basically. I'm abusing this little piece of rock here just so I can get used to it. Yeah, I can pressure flake some of these into points that are already kind of flat. But I'm beating this one to death just to prove a point. Just to show you a little bit what goes on. Yeah, I can't really get into these areas. Let's see. I might be able to get into some of these areas with a hammerstone. Another dense quartzite, very dense quartzite. Yeah. That's not too bad, actually. Yep, I should have been using a smaller hammerstone, probably. Anyway, I might be able to work this down into that little dart point. And this is a more dense quartzite than the one I was using previously. Whoops. Internal flaw. Let me see. It looks blurry, but I hope it's not for you guys. All right. Let's see. I'll put these aside. Get out my indirect percussion flaker. Do I want to mess with this piece? Not really. Just leave it as a curiosity. This one here, I do want to mess with it. Just because it might be a little bit easy. Maybe it's already in a pretty good shape. All right. I see what you're doing. I see how this is gonna go. Is this how it's gonna be? I see how it's gonna be. It's a good adze blade, a little miniature one. But I see how this is gonna go. I can save this piece. Yeah. I can save these pieces, but they're just like 100 other pieces, very similar. If I make another adze smaller, I can put that in there with no modification. I can stick that in there. Yeah, so I can save this piece. It's very good shape, but debitage includes these kinds of things anyway. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Take one of these, snap it into an arrowhead. Well, it probably will snap in half, but let's take a chance. Let's see. Let me see. I don't want to see you mess it up, dude. I want to see you make something. Make something. You're going to see the process of learning how to deal with it first before I make something. So I really don't have time to be working this stuff off camera and coming back to it, doing another one on camera. I'm going to do everything on camera as far as I can, as much as I can. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between. Golly. It's almost hopeless. Almost hopeless. Why am I not using pressure? Because I'm going to be pressure flaking all night. I don't want to wear myself out right now, especially on this kind of stuff. That's why. If I use indirect percussion, it doesn't wear me out. Yeah, a little bitty arrowhead. Yeah, I got 10 years experience and I'm making a little bitty newbie arrowhead. That's because this is new to me, this particular type of quartzite. It's in the middle of some stuff I've worked before, right? So it's a little bit easier, but it's also unexpectedly snappy and halfety. Yeah. It snaps in half when I don't expect it, which is annoying, highly annoying. And it eats through my tools. It's already eating into that. Come on. Yeah, it's gonna break in half if I hit the base like that. I know. You push the limits. You push the limits. You see what can and cannot be done. You see where it messes up, and you make adjustments. See, if I were to figure out what I can do with it before I start the video, If I figure out what I can do with it before I start the video, and then I make something out of it on video without much trouble, you don't understand the adjustments I made or what it was doing before. You don't see what I had to overcome. You just see the result, which is fine if all you're doing is getting entertainment. But if you want to learn how to do this, you don't learn anything if I just show you me making something after I've practiced already, because you don't see what I overcame. So what did you see that I overcame in this video? As long as you're not in La La Land, you know, you can tell me. Well, first of all, I overcame the snap in half. I was hitting on the stem or the base, and it was not breaking in half. So I overcame that. I also was able to get a triangle shape after several attempts at doing the overall triangle shape and not getting anywhere. I learned how this is fracturing. It's not conchoidal, it's kind of planar fracturing. Is that a thing? Well, a lot of archaeologists don't make a distinction there because they don't understand. But yeah, it flakes in a different way than chert or fine grain cryptocrystalline rocks. It doesn't mean it's impossible to nap. It just means that you have to nap it with a different mindset, which means you're not going to be able to thin it out in the same way. You got to start with something pretty much already thin. If you want to do this quickly, you can attempt to thin it down. And yeah, you can get lucky and sometimes run flakes. It pressure flakes all right. To get a large little dart point from this or an adze blade, I'm going to need a big pressure flaker. So that's one thing I'll be working on. These little pressure flakers are fine for these little Madison points. Lavanda is going to be bigger than this, and that's what they used to make out of these. Alright, so this is pretty much a common arrowhead around here, this triangular, very small Madison looking point. Pretty easy to make out of the debitage, relatively speaking. It's going to be thick. Let's see. It's going to be thick as far as the haft. But not too bad. Yeah. Yeah, it is a little bit thick, but glue can fill in those gaps. It's going to be a little bit thick. What did I mean to say there? This notch is too big for this particular point, but I can fill the gaps with glue. Madison points are for arrows, right? So this is a little bit thick here for arrows. As I was trying to say earlier, this little foreshaft, it's a little bit too thick for an arrow, but it's possible that they could make arrows that taper down. Use a fat end on this side and mount the Madison to the fat end of the arrow shoot, and then this down here at the very bottom is going to be the skinny part. You can do it that way, or you can make a foreshaft thick. Yeah, how would you haft this? Let's see. better have some thread. I got like 6 boxes that I can access, and none of them have thread. Let's see. Yeah. So let's see, and I just dropped my point. So I can't show you how to haft this with thread because I'm out of time. I had to add a couple more boxes. Yeah, I got a total of 8 containers around me, and not one of them has thread or sinew. All right, well, that's it. Hopefully you were entertained at least a little bit. These quartzite points are cool because they're kind of translucent, or they are translucent. Gonna get that light close enough? Come on. There you go. Can you do it? No? There. Okay. All right, there you go. That's it. I found my box for the glue and thread. I made a little box just for glue and thread and stuff. All right. So now I don't have to scramble. But what I'm going to do, since I was getting in a bad mood last video, is I'll try to wrap this up in a lighter mood. All right, I bought some clay, some modeling clay a while ago just for this purpose, to demonstrate how to haft without actually permanently hafting. I'm going to use black modeling clay to simulate natural pitch glue or asphaltum glue. Okay. So I can do this easily as a demonstration. It's not going to be exactly correct because working with natural glue is very sticky. Oh yes, but you'll kind of get the idea, because once it cools down, you can do this kind of stuff with it. You can push it into place. Just like I'm doing here with the modeling clay. Oops, if I can stay in frame. So yeah, once it cools down, the natural glue, the pitch glue or whatever, is going to behave similar to this. And when I'm done with showing you this little operation, I can take it all apart within 5 minutes or less. None the worse for wear, as they say. Or not the worse for wear. As long as I can keep this in the frame. Okay, so I want to fill in any gaps and make the transition as smooth as possible. It's okay if there's a little bit of a lump. Yep, it is okay. It's not ideal, but it's okay, you know, to leave a little bit of a lump, because I've seen that on real artifacts. Oh yes. All right, clean this up a little bit. Now the important thing is fill in these areas here. Let's see. This area, that area, this area, and that area. Fill it in so that the sinew is not flying. It's up against something. So I'm going to use thread to simulate sinew. This is just common sewing thread, cotton polyester or polycotton thread. I'm just doubling and tripling it up to simulate the thickness of sinew. Okay, so there's like five strands here. All right. How many strands? Count them real quick. I think there's 5. Okay. Elmer's glue. Elmer's glue is actually pretty good as a primitive glue because it's a plant-based glue. It can re-wet. You can glue it to itself. It's not like PVA glue where it will not glue to itself very well. This Elmer's glue is just a natural plant starch or some sort of plant thing. Multiple strands makes it very similar to sinew. It'll lay down just like sinew. All right, start this way, go up on the blade, go around again. Make sure it goes around at least once before you go up the other side, because you want it to anchor on the shaft, right? Before you put one of these cross lashings or whatever you want to call them on there. Now I can double it up. Let's do a little bit heftier job of it. Okay, I'm going to double it up and make it a little bit straighter. So once around, go back up, down, once around, and go another time around. It doesn't hurt. Up. See if I can get the symmetry so that it looks okay. Go once around, then back up, at least once around on the shaft, and then finish up. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Okay, very similar to sinew if you use multi strands of thread. All right, let's see. I don't know if that white background was interfering with it or making it any better. But let's zoom in on this. See how the sinew is touching the glue. You don't want gaps in there between the sinew and the glue, because you want, when you heat it up again, you want that glue to stick to the sinew. You know what I mean? You're going to warm this up, make your final adjustments. Make sure that tip is centered. I could sharpen that tip a little bit more. You see how the tip stays in place as you spin it. Okay? That's how you know it's centered. It might not be symmetrical on the sides, but it's centered. And you can be as picky as you want on the transitions. Okay, so that's basically how you do it. And you can waterproof the lashings. Let's see. I'm going to use a lighter here, but you can heat this up and the natural glue will get hot. Like you can see, it does affect the modeling clay, so it's very similar to how it would look with a natural glue. It warms up and it'll stick to the sinew as long as there's no gaps. And the reason why you want that is because it makes it stronger. If these wraps are flying, like right here we have a little bit of a gap between the stone and the sinew, it's not attached to anything, so it's not really adding to the strength. If we push the glue into the gap, it helps it a little bit. Okay, and you want everything to be nice and smooth. If you have to, you take a stone flake and you trim off the glue. Trim off the glue if you have to. If you want to, just to make it smooth, you can trim the glue with a flake. To make it nice and smooth. Now this is easier because I'm using modeling clay, but natural glue is just a little bit stiffer than this. Especially when it's warm, it's not too much different. But if it does harden up, you can still shave it with a flake. Okay. That's how I would haft it. All right.